sex, drugs, and rock and roll. One day on a mission for coin, Ms. Michael directed Bam, myself, in the direction of a shoe department store. Ms. has very poor taste. His taste is likened to the days of Atari, compared to modern life in a chase for the future. Ms. boosted a pair of men's church shoes, which Bam wanted no partake of. Bam was not convinced those shoes were worth a sale, so Ms. boosted a pair of Timberland boots in addition. The boots were size 12, a very tough sale. Ms. had a very hard time selling those ugly shoes. He practically gave them away. Also, he had difficulty selling the Timberland boots. The person he knew with size 12 shoe didn't want them. It took Ms. some time to sell the boots. Bam proved Mrs. game was dead weight. One day, Bam walked into a department outlet, located in a local mall, to acquire new footwear. Upon finding what he liked, he placed the flip-flop sandals which were on his feet, into the shoebox, and walked out with new trendy Timberland boots on his feet. Too easy? The very next day, Bam went to the same department outlet, with a trash bag tucked in his pant leg. Already equipped with a direct exit plan, he was ready. He lined up 9 pairs of Timberland boots, men's sizes 8 to 10, average 8.5, next to the back exit, one at a time. Once he finished, and upon his evaluation of a security check, he grabbed all 9 boxes, and walked out the side exit of the store. Once he was out of the department outlet, he was only seconds away from exiting the mall completely. Once he hit the back of the mall, which was empty, he pulled out his black trash bag, and placed all the Timberland boots, with the boxes, in the bag. He then continued to walking on the main road, with heavy street traffic, carrying this hefty bag, inconspicuously, and unnoticed. He made great coin. Every dealer wanted a pair. Bam's game was for the love of the battle. One evening, particularly, the first of the month, when all the money-loving hoes would be out, somehow, they were not. He had a pocket full of cash, cocaine rock, and to sweeten the deal, 2 bottles of Banana Nuevo, which is not sold anymore, for the escort, and her lady friend, tucked in the back seat of his Beamer coupe. Why were the hoes hiding, and what were they hiding from? Talk about deal or no deal. There was no deal made that evening. Down the road, the Animal Inn, Bam began to roar. He asked himself, how much pussy, in one night? Skeet here, skeet there, oops, skeeting into random pussy with no condom to wear. From this road and the girl, onto the next road and next girl, dick hard like a missile. 1, 2, 3 ... fuck it. He just stopped counting and kept busting, all the way till the sun came up. With nothing but time and money to spend, Bam absolutely lived for the love of battle. Fast forward, Bam is now Infinity Dragon, commonly ID. A declaration of war was made by Ella and her daughter, Brenda, in attempt to embarrass ID. They spoke harsh words to him, and behind his back, as if he lived his life as a failure, and now it was their turn to take the trash out, or so they thought. They are very bitter women. Ella, only reaching 8th grade, before dropping out of school to live an adult life, lived a very short sinful life of infidelity. Once she became pregnant with Brenda, reality kicked her real hard in the ass. Brenda's father is as good a myth that Ella could remember. For a fact, Ella has no real documentation of this man, such as a picture, that he truly existed. Maybe she doesn't remember who. Brenda, pregnant at the age of 17, had to turn down her dream of becoming a national track star. She could not wait to grow up, just like every child. She looked at ID as her burden, not her joy. She found pleasure in delivering cruel and harsh punishment, just towards him. However, ID, unlike Brenda and Ella, achieved academic excellence. Brenda would get mad at him because he took on every challenge in high school, busy around the clock that he would not be home. She, like Ella, secretly wanted to see him suffer. So, they devised a plan in secret to put ID out of his comfort zone within Ella's house, and delivered him to the curb of the street. They wanted to control him in unnatural manners, in their holy world of hearts. Brenda cried to be removed as a beneficiary from his social supplementary income account. ID was diagnosed with schizophrenia, the absolute worst to have, in 2012. He had symptoms since 2008. Upon being in solitary lockdown in 2013, the auditorial hallucinations increased from once every few weeks to non-stop 24/7. ID saw this as an opportunity to flip the disability into an ability. For example, in a modern world, a package arrives to a person's door, full of products this person has no knowledge of. In fact, the surrounding community has no knowledge of this secret package, or any understanding to the meaning of its contents. Nonetheless, ID knew in his heart each part. He knew Ella and Brenda had to kick him out of their home, as a declaring of war. They had to remove their false identity to show him hate. He first had Brenda removed from his SSI account, and was given full control of his monies. Upon exiting the SSI building, they wished him good luck in his current war against his secret enemy. Before advancing to his next battle position, he had to face Brenda's abusive baby father. Michael is very deceptive, only seeking to help himself, by any means. He overcharges a younger cousin of his, also with hidden prices, just to live in his basement. It is a vicious cycle ID witnessed him repeat. In fact, while ID filled out job applications and went on interviews, Michael attempted to convince ID that he should work with him fixing houses during the summer instead of working legit at a job. Michael even attempted to buy ID's BMW off of him, figuring he could use the money. However, ID knew Michael was already in debt to him, so selling his vehicle to him was a slap to his own face. ID is very calculating, as he saw his enemy swivel in the grass like a snake, knowing his every move, even through distance. Michael first challenged ID's wallet, by instructing him to buy an airbed. Michael then used verbal abuse and body language, communicating to ID that he was his enemy. This was war, and anything goes. ID did not sleep that night, refusing to give Michael an opening to attack him, or to steal from him. In the morning, Michael attempted to apologize to ID for his inappropriate behavior. However, ID was already packing his things into his car. He did not want to see ID leave. That's money he lost to his greed. Upon leaving, ID noticed one of his insured tires missing. He knew Michael's sticky fingers could not resist. In fact, ID noticed how Michael pleasured in robbing Home Depots for construction materials, for use in private housing construction contracts. However, with all the stealing, scheming, and underpaying his employees, he still managed to come up nothing. So, Michael breeds his pit bull dog as a side hustle. All his life, this is what he wanted to be, a bum. The last battle station was 2308 North 5th Street. There, Lynn, formerly known as Grim, and Melvine, welcomed him. ID continued his war in dominance, landing multiple job interviews. He landed an interview at Olive Garden, and scored a job as a busser making $5 per hour plus tips. He landed another interview at Sabrina's Cafe, scoring another job as a dishwasher, starting at $14 per hour. The job post said $15 per hour and 40 hours per week. However, he was told he was only needed 32 hours per week and a promise for more hours closer to 40 per week. Upon hearing this, he knew he needed a third job. He found a perfect third gig, for the weekend, initially. City Winery held an open job interview, hiring on the spot. One small problem though, he did not have a copy of his social security card. He was informed of the building close downtown, which would produce a temporary card for him, providing him with the sufficient identification needed for new hire paperwork. Just his luck, after walking to and fro, he managed to arrive back to the City Winery open interview, and score his third job as a serving assistant. This job paid $10 per hour plus tips. Upon securing this job, one of the higher-seated team members wished Heidi luck. She too knew of his secret war, knowing this was the final frontier. 3 jobs secured in less than 2 weeks. Lynn and Melvin would grow jealous of Heidi's success, trying to figure out how much money he had made, confronting him in secret battle. Working round the clock, non-stop, Heidi knew he had to battle these females that stood before him. The females of the morning, at Sabrina's cafe, were not his taste at all. They lacked creative vision. The females of Olive Garden were immature. They were plainly described as waiting to be raped. Not Heidi's style, not his cup of tea. However, the females of City Winery were from all different walks of life and backgrounds, more life experience. Warding off females was natural to him. Just as bees don't waste their time telling flies honey tastes better than shit. There was one particular female that he fancied. Oh, and he fancies a challenge. For a time, they only exchanged gazes, and then he began to formally court her. He began with a sneak attack. He ordered up just about every jewelry his eye pleasured at, for him, and for her. Once the main package arrived, he donned himself in proper swagger, carrying a lovely necklace for her in his pocket, to give to her in secret. Oh, he loves you, Anya. A friend and co-worker spoke of Heidi once they saw him in proper swag. She avoided him, yet he decided to chase. Over the course of many shifts, she managed to make sure she had Heidi's eye. She wooed him, directing the attention towards her buttocks, her eyes. She walked in his direction, for his affection. Now it was his turn to show her his moves. He surprised her during her pre-shift duty, with fun talk. Every female wanted Heidi's attention there, including the other jobs, yet he only saw this one female. They all noticed how he took his time speaking with her. She did not drink much, she told him, so he proposed to her going to such a bar she's never been, a nice bar. He noticed her eyes say, wow. Yep, he came prepped for that like, class. She then slowly declined, saying she didn't go out much either. He prompted her one last offer, and that was smoking some good old marijuana after work, being that she smoked. She assured him she smoked, and continued to tell him, another day. After that day, the scheduling manager made sure the two of them did not work the same shift, for a very long time. Once they worked together again, they were like strangers, somewhat. She managed to show the other females at work that she was still able to keep Heidi's eye, maintaining dominance. Heidi still had the beautiful necklace he purchased for Anya, plus the second shipment of lovely enchanted jewelry just for her. He had to disguise this gift of affection. So, one day before work, he prepared a drawer stuffed full of weed to give to her. Like clockwork, the two engaged in long gazes at each other, which have become very intimate at this point. In fact, she reached her limit. Upon Anya being in the dish area this day, where she's never been alone, they made sure they were watching each other. She moved very slowly, gathering all her confidence. When she finally found courage, she slowly moved toward Heidi. Upon coming face to face with him, she casted her magical smell upon him. Now, it is his move. He approached her, while she was alone, and before the shift begun. Upon giving her the weed, she questioned him. Why would he do that for her? 6 months of that acquaintance amounted for nothing. She proved she was imaginary. I kept my eyes off of her, and away from her. I was done with her. I walked the opposite direction of her. I stayed completely away from her. In fact, I snatched a magic gift from her, something like levitation, a parting gift, compliments of Egypt. I understand why I heard those females of Caucasian cry out to me in secret as my heart began to feel for this Anya, because they wanted me to know she is a fraud. Her imagination was a secret plea for mercy, and I am to show mercy to none. All, because Ra'ana refused you to be her only king. Spoken by a Caucasian woman, as I walked by her in a supermarket. End.